Hello, Assalamualaikum dan hai. Kita kembali lagi di dalam video I try to stream. Mula-mula saya nak minta maaf sebab lambat buat sambungan kerana saya bagi laluan dulu untuk video fandub saya. Anda dah tengok? Kalau belum tengok, boleh tengok sekarang. Oh bukan, kejap lagi ya. Okey, sekarang kita kembali ke dalam video I live to stream kita, iaitu sambungan daripada game Your Smile Beyond Twilight. Sebelum tu, saya nak cakap yang saya dah buat sedikit kajian yang sebenarnya game ni adalah game kinetic novel. Itu maksud kita hanya membaca je sampai habis kisah ni dan tak ada pilihan. Ya, memang kita tak ada pilihan. Pilihannya ialah anda lihatlah saya main, dan macam sebelum ni saya akan buat sedikit voice over. Jadi mari kita lihat bagaimana sambungan kisah Yunshan dan Jingxuan. Jadi mari kita lihat bagaimana sambungan kisah Yunshan dan Jadi mari kita lihat bagaimana sambungan kisah Yunshan dan Jingxuan. Jadi mari kita lihat bagaimana kisah sambungan Yunshan dan Jingxuan. Aduh, sasul. Okey, mari kita lihat.
我原本还以为叔叔的骨灰会躺在深山里呢。
Sounds like something a city person might think. Too bad we don't have any teetering peaks or ancient woods around here.
说起来，好像也是这样子呢。
Jingxuan stops her weeding and scans the landscape in all four directions. True to my word, the horizon, as seen from my father's grave, reveals no towering mountains or thick forests.
这里原本应该是有很多森林的吧？
Perhaps there should have been a lot when I was young, right, Mom?
That's right. Back then, you could even occasionally see tigers on the plateau. Right past 7 in the morning on our second day, Mother takes us to a place about 7 or 800 meters away from home. Because the soil here is of low quality, it was already basically a wasteland. After father passed away, mother chose this place as the final resting place for his remains and as the location of his tomb. The people of Tangyin never really made a point of taking their loved ones' remains up a mountain or whatever. In any case, there hasn't been any sort of mountain around here for ages. The Tangyin of today has, aside from many small one-story living space and some fairly ordinary roads, only farmland to cover the remaining space. Of course, there's also a humble little train station. Mom, do you come here to it often? You can tell?
Yeah, there aren't really any weeds here at all. In less than 10 minutes, we finish removing any greenery or fallen leaves around the tombstone. Seeing the pristine condition of this grave brings to mind a poignant image of mother coming here every day.
Since I don't really have anything to do other than farm work, I might as well spend the extra time with Dad. Don't think too much about it. Yunshan's father seeing the filial pity in you two is already plenty. Even coming by for a quick glance is sure to make him happy on the other side.
That's not what I meant at all, Mom.
Come, let's spend some money and clothes for Dad.
Okay. You've been lonely since father passed away, haven't you? Before I could even say this out loud, mother already dodged my question by moving away from me.
The unbelievable awkwardness of this atmosphere gives me chills. Mother pretends that nothing is wrong and continues to take out offerings from her bag.
没有必要说出来的，云山。
Jingxuan. As if she read my mind, she leans in to offer harsh counsel.
最爱的人离开了，唯一的儿子也不在身边，没有谁会不觉得寂寞的。有空就多回来陪陪阿姨吧。
Okay.
好了，我们过去帮忙吧。
I was under the impression that my experience in the big city had helped me become mature enough for this kind of thing. But now I realize that I still have a long way to go. What kind of mature person would just casually consider saying those obvious and hurtful words? Seriously, I am still just a child. It is because you are still a child that you keep overestimating yourself. Small scraps of burnt paper fly about, outlining the movement of the hot air. Something that father used to always say to me suddenly comes to mind. The me from back then always thought that his words were just hot air, the outdated arcane words of a high and mighty elder. You'll understand when you're older. So you were right all along, old man.
你在跟我说话吗，云山？
Oh, no, I was just making conversation with myself. We concluded our tom sweeping at around 10. I thought I would have a lot to say, and yet when I got here today, I realized that I had already gotten everything off my chest yesterday. Maybe all conversations between father and son are like this.
哇，才过了这么一会儿，居然有这么多人下田了。
Actually, they were already at work at 5 in the morning. They were just in another section at the time. The silhouettes of hard-working farmers decorate the fields along the road. When they greet my mother, Jingxuan also jumps in to send her regards despite being a total stranger. What an enviably vibrant personality.
不会吧？照这么说，他们一个人每天要看多少田呀？
All we have are this many fields. Us country folk have never done anything else. So all we can do is keep working no matter how hard it is. Yunshan's father and I weren't in great shape these past few years, so we gave most of our land over to the others.
这样啊，
Luckily, our savings and the money Yunshan sent back every month was enough to live comfortably. Hey mom, how about we just sell the remaining land? I should be able to land a new job soon.
是啊，阿姨，身体不行的话就别下田了。
You are really quite a fine woman, Jingxuan. Mother gives me a subtle glance as she says this. The look in her eyes sternly reminds me to not make an enemy out of such a wonderful girl. When we arrive home, Mother asks Jingxuan if she wants to join her in making the rounds to meet a few more of the townspeople. Although they also extend me an invitation on the way out, I decline on the basis of my past rude behavior. I don't really have the face to go out and see anyone. Mother seems to have guessed my inner struggle and doesn't pursue the issue any further. She lives with Jingxuan. If I had to guess, Mother taking Jingxuan around town is at least in part her way of priming her future daughter-in-law. I'm not sure whether I should be laughing or crying. After all this, there's no way I can get away with not marrying Jingxuan now, huh? When I get tired of listlessly sitting around in my room, I turn off my laptop and take a stroll around town. Most of the people my age in Tang Yin went to the big city to make it, just like I did. Any young people who stay all immerse themselves peacefully in continuing our town's agricultural tradition. On neither side is there anyone I can really call a friend. A list of everyone in this town who my past self has offended would include pretty much everyone except my parents. No one is coming for my life anytime soon, but I would definitely get the cold shoulder from more than a few people. Even then, I feel much more at ease here than back in the big city. The so-called friends I have there certainly don't help to ease the sense of dread fueling my daily metropolitan life. The city is a battlefield. I am now thoroughly acquainted with the implications behind that adage. In the end, I came right back here. After strolling in the vicinity of home, I find myself standing here again, in front of father's grave. Even though I'm in my own hometown, there's a feeling that the only places where I really belong are in the house or right here. As I rack my brain for something to say to father and mull over whether I should say anything at all, a young woman enters my line of sight. A high school uniform. The maiden donning a Tang Yin high school uniform stands expressionlessly in front of father's grave, holding a bouquet of flowers in her hand. Did she come to mourn for father? Seeing this girl with her waist-length hair framing her delicate figure and her inexplicably beautiful profile causes me to rub my eyes in disbelief. But whether I rub them once, twice, thrice, every time I look again, she still stands there wordlessly. After a while, she bows to my father and stoops down to lay the flowers in her hands. I approach her and prepare to break the silence. "Excuse me, may I ask who you..." As if she were waiting for me to show up, the maiden turns around. She tilts her perfectly proportioned face as she looks straight through me. The sea of questions in my head starts bubbling over. I know fully well how much I am universally despised by the youth and children of Tang Yin, yet this girl who looks about 5 or 6 years younger than me is apparently not among them. Otherwise, I should be feeling a torrent of revulsion and disgust coming from her right now. But she had not even my annoyance written on her face, let alone disgust. The biggest surprise of all is the uninhibited smile that begins to bloom on her somber face. I don't get it. I can't understand any of this. Someone in this town aside from mother is willing to smile through her sadness for my sake?
Yunshan.
Huh? Beaming a white grin, the maiden bolts towards me and embraces me around the neck.
Yunshan!
What's going on? Being hugged by such a peerless beauty would be any man's fantasy, but rather than feeling lust or excitement, my brain brims with confusion and suspicion. The girl hugging me right now certainly isn't acting like just an acquaintance. And yet, why do I have absolutely no recollection of her?
我好想你，允慎。
Wait. The face buried in my chest looks up as I begin to speak. The tear-stained yet all the same alluring visage captivates my entire being. She's crying. She she's crying because she's moved?
好久不见了呢，云山。
About that, I'm sorry, but you are... Although for a moment I am caught up in the heartbreaking sight of her crying, my suspicion only continued to mount amidst the mess in my head. After forcing themselves out of my mouth, those doubts are finally materialized into words.
你在说什么呢，云山？我是。
The girl who tries to maintain her false smile as she opens her mouth to introduce herself suddenly stops and gets a blank look on her face, as if she just lost something important.
对呀，我是谁呀？
She forgot her own name?
我究竟是谁呀？
With a pale look on her face, the maiden takes her hands off my shoulders and uses them to cradle her head.
云山，我到底是谁啊？
Even if you ask me, I...
对不起，云山。
Before she even finished speaking, she has already broken into a scream. She escapes from my sight and goes in the direction of the train station. If it were anyone else, they would instantly assume that she was mentally ill or something of the sort. But the inexplicable thing was that I had a gut feeling she had some legitimate reason to appear here. Or maybe I do know the answers in fact. Yunshan, please tell me who I really was. Maybe I know her somehow? My hints, a beautiful high school age maiden who was close to me. Thinking through everyone I know in this small town, my mental search comes up negative. Who was that girl?
Wow， 这就是允善你从小学读到高中的学校吗？比我想象中的要漂亮不少呢。
Yeah, too bad the size of the student population doesn't really live up to the beauty of the architecture.
什么意思？
The enrollment is pitiful. From primary school to secondary school, each year only has 1 or 2 sections. Aside from the natural environment, Tangyin lacks any sort of place you might call entertaining, which is why after lunch, I took Jingxuan to my old school as a way of spending an afternoon together. To retain its existing enrollment figures, the school denoted simply Tangyin School was built right on the outskirts of town. Advertising its no-fees, all-cost-covered policy, it managed to attract enough students from neighboring counties to round out its class figures. Even then, situations arise where there might be school years with no sections for high school sophomore year or middle school first year, for instance. The population of this town is depressingly small.
人口这么少的话，为什么还要花钱建火车站呢？
When I was little, some bigwigs sank a lot of money into building one. Like my mom said, at one point they were documented tiger sightings.
是要把唐英镇建设成旅游村吗？
Something like that, but after the mountains were leveled and the station was completed, the project was shelved. Luckily, some higher up managed to get trains to run through here, or else the station would have been scrapped too.
为什么上面不继续招标，或者亲自领头把唐英镇的建设工程做完呢？
No clue, I smell some bureaucratic corruption.
恶作剧。
Although it seems like it was for the better, keeping the town like this and not disrupting everyone's lifestyle isn't a bad ending by any means.
相当的让人感到安心呢。
I have knowledge on who took up this project then scrapped it halfway, but this current state of limbo is a blessing in disguise for many Tangyin residents. That's always a good thing. Anyway, people weary from fighting it out in the big city will always need places like the town of Tangyin for escaping to and getting a nice quiet change of pace. Let's enter the school and check it out, Jingxuan. There's no security here.
听起来很不安全呢。
Why would it be? What month was it again?
那当然是7月。原来是这样。
Let's go. After only 2 years out of school, Jingxuan has already forgotten all about the concept of a vacation. This is fairly normal. While working at our last company, the daily grind had caused even holidays to be relegated to the backs of our minds. The only way to survive in this kind of society is to grit your teeth and march on. You want a holiday? Then make it to the top first.
1年级1班，2年级2班，3年级1班，4年级1班，5年级2班，6年级1班，初1 1班，初2 1班，初3 2班，高1 1班，高2 2班，高3 1班。这些就是雨山你曾经待过的课室啊。
I only told you once and you can remember it this accurately?
女孩子呢，对于自己最喜欢的人的名字和他有关的一切，可是听一遍就会记一辈子的。
You women are really quite something.
说起来，雨山你在中学的时候也应该被1、2个女孩子告白过吧
？It's possible that there was someone who liked me, but no, zero confessions.
不要因为是在我面前就不好意思说哦。
I'm not.
不会吧？雨山你算是长得挺帅气的男生啊，连1、2个鼓起勇气跟你告白的女孩子都没有吗？
I thought I told you before. Starting from middle school, I was despised for being so arrogant.
确实呢。
The evening after I was told to resign, I stumbled over to Jingxuan's apartment in a daze. The person who let me in was the fresh out of shower, pajama wearing, hair towel donning Jingxuan. It's embarrassing to admit, but I cried like a small child with my head buried in Jingxuan's chest and bitter tears wetting my face. Saying nothing, she stroked my head tenderly as if I were a spoiled child fresh from a tantrum. After I finished crying, I stammered out an incoherent explanation of all my troubles to Jingxuan. At that moment, the arrogant me finally realized just how pathetically small of a person I really was. I didn't do anything that night except wallow in self-pity. I had no idea whether I had any value, whether there was any reason for me to continue. But Jingxuan insisted that I never stop fighting to survive, even if I was on my last legs and on the brink of death. Because if I gave up, she would lose the pillar to her very existence.
那如果是现在的允善，肯定会有不少女生跟你告白了。
Maybe, but my present self and my past self aren't really the same person anyway.
对呢，不过现在的允善已经被我一个人独占了。
Jingxuan smiles while holding onto my arm. Do you really have no problem being with someone as arrogant as me, Jingxuan?
是曾经的自大狂吧。
But you know this certain someone while they were still arrogant.
正因为如此，我才知晓允善你所有的优点和缺点。也因为这样，我才想要跟你在一起。
What kind of objective was that?
当然，我想要拯救我的幸福。
Alright,
弗拉，
I surrender. I really can't win against you with words.
与其一直思考你能不能给予我幸福，不如努力一点，尽可能的给予我想要的幸福吧。因为这辈子我已经认定你了，云山。
Have you now?
嗯，
I want you to join me on life passage. From the moment a girl utters these words, if you care about her, if you love her, you must tackle her feelings head on and reciprocate in the way she deserves. Your only choice is to try your best to give her the happiness she wants. Maybe this is what Jingxuan meant all this time.
那个，这里的洗手间能用吧？
They should be, but there isn't any janitorial staff here during vacation. It will probably stink.
可是我好急，没办法了。云山，你先去学校门口等我吧，我待会儿就过去。
Sure. Okey, nampaknya kita berhenti di sini. Dan kita sambung lain kali. Bukan apa, saya tak nak buat video panjang-panjang. Dan nampaknya ada gadis baru yang muncul dan dia kenal Yunshan. Tapi Yunshan tak ingat pasal dia. Tapi dia yakin yang dia kenal perempuan tu. Siapakah dia? Kita tunggu sambungannya nanti. Satu lagi, kesian dekat Jingxuan. Jingxuan, dari tadi saya asyik tersalah-salah sebut nama dia. Sebenarnya dari awal tadi namanya Jingxuan, bukan Jingxuan. Keliru lah dua-dua nama ni. Okey, nampaknya kita berhenti setakat ini. Dan tunggu ya, saya sambung seterusnya. Harap-harap tak lama lah. Jadi jumpa lagi dan bye-bye.